Starting soon.
What is up, Album Book Club? Take these out before I explode.
Soft intro today, boys.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to another album review. Today we are taking a look at Why Brad Ran Away by Hayds. I think, is that
It may be
about-
Hayds.
Hayds. I didn't, for the first time ever, I didn't have it written down on the actual sheet, so.
I only
Damn.
have it written down. It's Hayds.
Yep, that's right, Hayds. My bad. Alright, we want to jump right into our top three.
Let's go.
My top three was R.I.P., Haunted, and Hated the Color, Still Painted the Walls.
I have Coraline, I Love You Like a Dog, and You Bleed Blue.
I have Hated the Color, Still Painted the Walls, R.I.P., and I Never Learned to Dance.
I told you, Carson.
Yeah, you were right, Connor. My top three were Coraline, I Never Learned to Dance, and You Bleed Blue.
So, Carl, before we move on, we were talking earlier, and I'm pretty sure that the exact same problem that happened in the Ollie Ride one with the one song that these two didn't like and we did happened this week.
Yep.
No,
And
I can tell you exactly why I didn't like this, and it's completely different than why I didn't like that song.
I mean, the other thing with this one, I definitely listened over big speakers today, and that always, we talk about this. That
That's
always
going to
makes
help you.
that always makes a difference. But this was a mix that I was like, wow, this probably wouldn't sound great on smaller headphones or AirPods or a smaller system. You have to have space to let it digest. So I'm interested to see what our scores are based on what we listened on.
We're going to get into our bottom song. Mine was Missing Teeth, the interlude. It is a cop-out answer. I do not care.
It's not really an interlude, though. That's a full song
Yeah.
length.
That is true.
Mine was I Hated the Color, Still Painted the Walls.
Mine was Cryptic.
Mine was Hated the Color, Still Painted the Walls.
For the entire length of this album after I had Cryptic written down until this one.
I get it. And yeah, if the interlude was an interlude, I think I'd agree with you.
Written down.
If the interlude was actually an interlude, I think I'd agree with you. I think
I feel less bad about picking the interlude because it's not one. But it also, there's like one of the first couple songs, I was like, this feels like an intro. And we are not far enough in for this to be here yet.
I think at some point we have to make T-shirts that say interlude or something because of how much we hate them.
We have them, actually.
Do we?
They're not on the store, but
Neat.
Big Dale is wearing it.
Nice. Okay. Well, apparently I'm a moron, so pay no attention to
No,
me.
it was
Oh,
before,
you're not a
it was
moron,
before
you're
your
just
time.
blind.
Oh yeah. Well,
It
that's
was
true.
before your time, and Big Dale sits in the corner now. I gotta fix this camera. Hold on. Somebody yap for a second.
Oh shit! I guess it's dude, it went black for a second. Cool. Oh yeah.
What? So okay.
Did you just shocked, dude?
So-
Holy hell.
So speaking of what did we all listen on? I'm always curious. What?
AirPods.
I listened on two things. First thing I listened on was I listened to it on the way to work over the truck speakers, and then I also listened on my Sony headphones.
Nice.
So
Sad story. My car plays in like part mono because the head unit is slightly busted, but it's got like nav and backup cam. So I don't want to take it apart and try to fix it and break something that's like important. So I only have right side for whatever reason, even though I've replaced all the speakers in the
Damn.
car. So it's the head unit, and so neat fact, I can't enjoy music in the car anymore. Otherwise, I would have done that. I listened over studio monitors. 'Cause
yeah.
I work in a music store.
First run was AirPods, then I switched to Beats and tried it. It got worse, and then I listened through producer phones.
I use the Sonys, but I have also listened to most of it in the car also. So
Neat.
ready to get started now that the cameras are fixed?
Oh yeah.
All right. You Bleed Blue. First track. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10.
Give it a 5.5.
I give it a 7.
I gave it a 6.5.
Yeah, I did not like the vocals. They were buried behind a layer of effects that were just very overwhelming in the AirPods. I think the mid boost in AirPods really killed this album because all of the just effect static all built up in that area and flooded it.
And what's interesting about that, I kind of experienced the same thing with my Sonys just a little bit because I felt like I had to turn them up a lot in order to hear kind of everything going on. Like you needed to have a really big sound for this album to be enjoyable.
Neat fact, I actually like the fact that the vocals were kind of buried. I actually wrote that down, that I kind of enjoy it. Tracks that aren't necessarily vocal focused. You know, I always tell people it's funny, this has nothing to do with AC/DC, but I think about AC/DC because if you're listening to AC/DC for the vocals, you're going to be disappointed. It doesn't matter what era. So, you know, it's that kind of thing. And I really enjoyed the guitar parts in this. I don't know if he played them or if it was a sample or what, but they were mixed really well. They went really hard for literally no reason. I don't love the effect settings on a lot of the album. It just buries whatever he was trying to do vocally. And there might have been something cool there. There might not have been. It might be on purpose. I understand it as an artistic choice. It was just a lot. And
yeah,
it was a lot out of the gate. It was a lot. And then I don't remember there ever being clean vocals the whole album. So maybe that's just a stylistic.
There's a couple spots.
There was spots of it, and then there was like a clean vocoder kind of like split where it was layers, but one was way louder than the other. That was a big problem.
And I mean, I get it. You know, I kind of like the thing. You know, later it kind of turns into a Revenge of Nintendo kind of thing, and I enjoy that. But it was a lot on the first track of an album. That's a lot to open up with.
Yeah, I have a note here that says this sounds like the ending to this album, but also I think a lot of the songs could have been the ending. The ending also was insane. We'll get to it, but
Yep.
There's a lot of effects throughout this whole album. We keep talking about it. I didn't mind it on about 60% of this album. The effects were pretty decent. I liked it on this song. There is one like weird vocal line in the back of this song that I didn't think fit with everything else, but that's probably the least amount of problems I'll bring up about the vocal lines.
Could any of you guys tell if they were samples? I actually was curious if any of this was like tracked. 'Cause
The way that the vocals are mixed in really makes me think that that's all that he did. But that's just because everything else seems to be so good together, and then the vocals are the only thing that struggle.
Right, it was a really weird thing because I was like, man, these guitars sound so good, they must be a sample. And that sounds mean. That's not what I mean, but it was
No, if
really,
you record them, they're really good.
Yeah, like I'm just curious if you did them really good. You did a really good job, or whoever did the guitars did a really good job, and that's what kind of immediately made me think that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I liked most, if not all, of the backing tracks to it. There's a couple spots where I had, I take that back. There's one I really didn't like, but for the most part, I liked most of the backing tracks. And then there's a couple places where the vocals didn't quite hit.
For me, being a big vocal guy, it just kind of missed its mark with me because it's not really my genre. It's not really what I listen to. So the effects going on here were a little jarring to my ears. Like it was just a lot all at one time. I agree with you guys, and it's an interesting sound, and it like puts you right into that. It doesn't waste any time. It's like, hey, this is what this album's gonna sound like. This is what you're gonna hear the whole time. Just warning you, but it's kind of a punch in the face.
I get that. But I also tend to enjoy a lot of what I would call avant-garde music. Stuff that's a little different, and it's different on purpose. And this kind of fell into that thing for me. And I typically like a lot of more laid-back electronic music, which I think is like the opposite of something that Logan would like. So it's kind of funny we're going to disagree on a lot of that. But a lot of the more electronic styles that I like are really kind of laid back, and this album has a lot of that. The other thing we didn't bring up is all the track lengths are really, really short.
Yeah.
So I think if they were longer, he would have had time to develop some more thoughts. But also, if they were longer, I don't know how I could have done, because some of these tracks get pretty out there. And if they were over 2 minutes, I don't know, or over 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I don't know how I would have taken them. So I think it was actually a benefit on this track. Some tracks I kind of would have liked a little more development overall.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's a lot of like minute 30-second songs on here.
I think the biggest problem,
you're good.
is 2 minutes is hard with three genres clashing, and I don't mean that in any kind of disrespectful way, because it's very hard to take genres you love and clash them together. It just takes 4 to 5 minutes to do it, and because you have these songs where it's like, electronic section, trap section, rock section, and then but it's like 40 seconds, 20 seconds, 40 seconds. It's like, holy shit, why was the trap section in there? And it's like, you have other songs where the trap section is the lead thing, and it's really good. It's just, there's just not enough time for any of it. And I really wish we would get like a full song of one, a full song of the other, a full song of the other, and then like a longer song of the three combining. Something like that I think would work really good, because this guy clearly can take ideas and put them together. It's just there's not enough time to make them make sense together.
I don't know. I think it's about the time developing them. I like a lot of music that goes places. We talk about this a lot. A lot of the things I complain about are when music just kind of is the equivalent of getting in your car and driving around the block and coming back home. Like it never goes anywhere or does anything. So a lot of the music when I write is very much it starts and then it goes on this crazy adventure, and sometimes when you get too far gone, you never have to come back. So I understand that, but those are 5 or 6 minute songs at the least.
Exactly.
If we're talking about the prog rock stuff or some of the prog metal stuff I like, those can be 10-minute songs, or in the case of Octavarium, 25-minute songs sometimes. It kind of depends.
Ridiculous.
These are like you ran down the
I could
block
never.
and then got winded,
Yeah, I think Carson would die if I forced him to listen to Octavarium.
Absolutely. I 25 minutes of
You
my
wanna listen to
fucking
some
life for
Dream
what?
Theater? This isn't like an entire Dream Theater album.
Yeah, it's got like 4. A lot of that stuff will break them down into movements. So a lot of those bigger pieces, they don't pause, but you essentially you think of it like a thematic overture. There's separate movements in them.
It's too complex for my little pea brain.
You were in band class. We played pieces
I was in
with
AP music-
multiple movements.
Hey, dude, I was in AP Music Theory.
Yeah.
I got a 4 on that fucking test.
We played a song that was 8 minutes long.
Yeah, and I didn't have the time for it.
Or you
I was pissed.
There's a section in the middle carved out for Carson to take a nap.
Hey, when the saxophones ever died on the field, that was me just going, can't do it anymore.
Oh, I was talking about Jupiter.
Oh, never mind. I love that one. I really
you play
love
the-
playing
I
that
also
one.
lied. I think that's like 6 minutes.
Did you play the whole Planet Suite or just Jupiter?
Just
Jupiter.
Jupiter. We tried to get Jupiter, Mars, and what was the other one? We were rooting for another one.
Uranus
Was it
and-
Uranus?
No, it was Pluto.
Was it I can't remember. I know we wanted to do Mars because obviously the big brass.
Mm-hmm.
Jupiter is really pretty. Jupiter's probably my favorite one as far as like the percussion parts. But Mars is, if a lot of people don't know, Mars is literally the Imperial Death March from
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Boom, 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 boom.
That John Williams was backed into a corner. They used that for temp music. It's not his fault. But anyway, that was a really long digression. That's a really cool piece. The Planet Suite is a lot of fun.
Very good.
We're all big nerds.
Yeah, I mean, we all just went through band.
You know
I
what?
said we all started at the same
When
place.
it comes to classical music, I do have a higher tolerance for song length.
Really? I
Yeah.
think I'm pickier, but that's also because you get some classical pieces where there's just. It's like jam bands where everybody gets a solo, I swear to God.
For real.
I mean, I don't know.
It's mostly just flutes, and I hate flutes with a passion.
Okay. Yeah,
Damn.
the story I was going to tell you is one of the times we had an artist in residence, we were playing a piece that was 22 minutes long. And he was like, cool, I think this needs to develop further. We're going to repeat there 2 more times. And we were like, that repeat is 3 pages of music. It was 18 pages worth of scrolling. And he was like, yeah, we'll do it 2 more times. And I remember going back and looking at the recording of the concert, and that piece was like 27 minutes. I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
I'm like a crisp 10 minutes max.
So-
Performance length.
So back to the topic. Not 2 minutes. Not 2.5.
Correct. Yeah. Too short. Good concepts. Need a little more time, actually.
We're saying two way too many times not to go on to the second song.
Song number 2.
There we go.
Loving You Less featuring Overpaid unless it auto-corrected somewhere. I give this one a 6 out of 10.
Give us a 4 out of 10.
I also gave this a 6.
5.
I did not care for the vocal mix on the intro part. I don't think it was bad after that. The guitars are a little bit quiet during the breakdown towards the end. Could have been turned up a little bit, but other than that, solid Joji inspired song.
Speaking of that breakdown towards the end, I have a problem with it. When I guess I was listening on too small a headphones, because when that happens and things are supposed to bloom outwards and you're supposed to get this big sound, it didn't happen. It felt like all the compression was still there. It felt like it got even more compressed and just held in this tight bundle in front of me while I was listening to the sound. I'm like, I was really disappointed. I wanted it to fully flush out and develop into a really good sound, but it's almost like they just forgot to decompress whatever was going on.
That kind of is an overall statement about the whole album. I'll agree with is there's a lot of dynamic squashing between the sections, and I get it. That's to make it a little more palatable to people, but I probably would have liked the softer to have been a little softer to make the loud have somewhere to go, because the music can only get so loud before it just becomes too much. And if you give yourself room by making the other part softer, you can make the loud louder, if that makes sense. That happens a lot on this album. Is you literally hit the brick wall of the max what you're listening on can take.
Yeah, and in this section particularly, it's like my headphones reached a point where it was like, okay, we're just gonna squeeze. The sound itself sounded strained.
Yeah, neat trick. I actually saw someone the other day who does recording talk about when he records, he actually puts a plug-in on the master to turn the whole track down 3 dB, so that he mixes, and when you mix, you get louder and louder. That's just part of it. As you're mixing, you're always turning stuff up. You never go back to turn stuff down, hardly ever, unless you're consciously thinking about it. So when he's done with the mix, he just undoes the 3 dB down and then comes up, and it's always the perfect volume. Thought that was a neat little side trick.
The other thing about this song that I didn't particularly care for, I did not need to be ear-fucked by a robot at the end. What was that? Why? Why is it there? I didn't like it. It hurt my ears.
Yeah, vocals, man, that was the killer of this track. I think by time I had re-jarred from the beginning's vocals, it was that kind of the fuckery with the god damn it, what's the vocoder? That's the word. Couldn't think of it. Sorry about it. The vocoder, I think, on this whole thing, stylistic or not, got pushed past its limits, which could have just been maybe you were just a hair too low, or maybe you really wanted that T-Pain sound and were pushing it to its limits. But it cracked it bad in the AirPods, and there's a hiss and a break. It's really noticeable. Reference Daft Punk. On Discovery, it's Short Circuit or one of their songs. They purposefully break the vocoder, and that sound, it is the exact same sound that you get a couple times on this album, where it just is like a Bit Crusher-esque sound, and it's, I don't think on purpose, and this song kind of had it at the end, and because of what we mentioned last time, needing more track length. By time I had readjusted from the vocals were there, and then it spun me somewhere else, and then it spun me into that. It just was the perfect storm of not for me.
I love Bit Crushers. I love ring mods, but when you're using them, any sort of effect like that, it's like cooking with habanero peppers or something. You can put it in, but if there's too much, you're not gonna notice anything else. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a good thing to remember. A lot of people will over distort or over compress, or they'll make something crunchy. On this album, it was the electronic effects were just a lot sometimes.
They were all turned to 11 all the time, and they needed to be turned to 8.
That's the thing. I like them a lot. It's just it didn't have the space in small headphones was the problem. It was made for big headphones, made for speakers, and that's just not how I listened.
I will say, even when I was listening on the larger system, which was the truck, the more open space, I had to turn it up a lot. I had to turn it up significantly from what I would normally listen, like volume-wise, for the full effect to really come through.
See, I never shit on the volume of songs, especially this is one where I will cut him slack, being like a first-time guy. You go look at anybody's first tracks; they're all way too damn quiet. You got to turn everything up to max volume to hear it. Go look at our lives from like 2 months ago; they're all too quiet. So that's where I cut him some slack. Is yeah, we do have to turn it up, but where I can't cut the slack is needing bigger speakers for the clarity to be there while it's turned up. But you're learning.
So
Keep going. That's the idea.
I haven't talked yet. Sorry, no. I think it's funny because I keep interrupting you guys adding, and then I haven't said anything useful.
At least you're aware.
Yeah, the energy of this album is awesome, and
Phenomenal.
and like on this track it carries through. So that was something that was really awesome. I really liked the beat and samples that were going on here. A lot of these were chopped up to where I could very clearly tell, but I loved the track. I'm a fan of the vocoder. I would like to hear maybe a little more polished mix at times, or maybe a little less of it at times, or figure out how to use it on the background with some harmonies, or mix some dry back in something. Sometimes it's just a little hard to understand what's being said, and I feel like the lyrics were important when this was written, because there are definitely lyrics there, but
When the thing
we
is,
can't tell.
the importance too is you were most raw in writing your lyrics when you're young. It's a fact, because you don't know how to write lyrics. You don't know how flow works. You don't know what anything means. So you just write shit down and say it.
You don't
so
know.
they mean
You don't
things.
understand pacing.
Exactly. You don't understand flow. I'm just kidding.
Rip flow.
But I do think that this is like a really good outline of a second project that is realistically double the length, brother. You need more than 30 minutes.
I will say.
I don't think you need 14 songs. I do think you need 12 songs and 45 minutes.
I thought you were about to say you need 30 songs.
This
Like,
is-
No,
one
no.
needs
Dude,
that.
okay.
12 songs, like 45 minutes.
I'm pretty
That
sure we
feels
all have
solid.
the same note about
Dude.
they need less songs but more
More
time
time.
in each
We
song.
should write an album book club manifesto about how all albums should be 12 songs, have no interludes, be 45 minutes, have exactly this mix. We complain about the same things every week. I just want
I'll
you to
get
know
like
that.
I'll get a plaque for like right here off camera.
Yeah.
That's just this is our perfect album.
Yeah, it literally just says the rules, like the Fairly Godparents on top, and then
I-
just has them listed.
Well,
I
see-
love how Carl's like, we complain about the same things every week, as if we don't have a criteria, brother.
Yeah, it's
45 minutes is
we
also
have
not
bullet
a
points.
requirement in my head. I think 45 minutes
Dude.
is just a solid amount of time to fledge out everything. But I will say, one 30-minute song on an hour-and-a-half album is outrageous.
I just think it's funny that
Oh,
we have
brothers.
at this point we literally have a scoring rubric.
Yeah.
we do.
And we've pretty much all fallen victim to it because we're like, yeah, I guess he's right.
And
And
I
then we
say
just
it
go
every
on.
time there's an interlude and we have a guest, they have to watch me say, "But we got rules," so it gets a 4,
Interludes get
a
4s.
5 to a 6.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
We started this to break the system, man. Now we are the system.
we
Damn,
have-
we've become the system.
we have
That's fucked
become-
up.
Yeah.
It's time
Well-
to write a punk album.
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say good news when it's time to write some music. We can do it pretty efficiently, I'd assume.
Maybe season 5 will implement the negative 10 to 10 scoring system and just to shake things up.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I think our numbers don't mean jack shit. Right? You can listen to us say
Damn.
whatever
Hey,
number.
hey,
I
hey.
disagree.
You
You
can
are-
listen to us say whatever number you want all day. It's about what we say. And my point in case to this is Dropkick Murphys. I don't
Oh
care
my
what
God.
you say. An 8.5 and then talking shit about it, you're lying somewhere. The number doesn't matter. What we say does. Take what we say to your heart, not the number attached to it.
Do you know
I
all
dis-
numbers are made up? They're all made up.
That's true. Yeah, exactly.
Every number is made up.
I don't think I agree with you because I think it's more for me. The number is how likely I am to listen to it again, and then the scoring is like what I.
But
thought
yeah, that's what
about
I'm
it.
saying. The number is exactly subjective.
Yeah.
I.e., a 10 out of 10 song to you is a 9 out of 10 song to me for the same reasons. So that's why I'm saying listen to what we say, not the number.
62.7% of statistics are made up on the spot, and 5/3 of people don't understand fractions. We're getting there, dude. We're getting there.
Fuck, we had to take this one down.
Did I say something too true? Was
Little
today
bit.
that?
Little bit.
All right, we gotta re-rail this. You want to go on to track 3, or did you speak? Have you gotten to speak yet?
Yeah. I think I went first.
Okay.
That was a long time ago. We'll move on. I never learned to dance. I gave the song a 5 out of 10.
Give us a 5 out of 10.
Ooh, I give this one a 7.
I believe I also gave this song a 5 out of 10.
Also,
Here, I'll get this
Carson-
out of the way real quick.
Wait, never mind. I gave the song a 7.
By the way, Carson, I know what you're talking about with Carl. He didn't, and it's not that bad.
Oh no! I was about to lean over and say something to him about what I did, in my own brain.
You have it backwards.
Yes.
Yeah, with this song, there was a lot of distortion, like probably too much. I did really like the bass tone on this song, and this is the one that I mentioned earlier where it feels like an interlude, but it's not. So
This track came and went in
This-
like
we-
the best way possible.
we have rules. 5 out of 10.
Bro, did you guys like the rock in the ocean boom? That's the only way I can describe it, dude. When I heard it, I was literally like, bro, that's what it sounds like if you drop a slab of concrete from an air helicopter
real.
into the ocean.
You know what? You're absolutely right.
I really loved the chopped and gated nonsense. I really think I just like way more avant-garde than you guys like. I think music concrete's like my thing.
I actually like this one a lot, Carl.
Good.
And by a lot, I mean it's a 7.
Yeah.
It's playlist worthy, maybe. On a specific one.
So I think if you get specific enough with the playlist, almost all of these
Well,
songs could.
This would be a good vibe for me,
Yeah.
at least. A lot of this, it just isn't my wheelhouse.
I have songs. I don't. These ones didn't, but I have songs later that made it on the playlist.
But yeah, I like this one's vibe kind of better
Yeah,
than
it's-
some of the other songs.
It's fast. Fast is good.
Mhm. It's. I feel like that made it a little easier to digest.
Me as
you
a
know.
guitar player, I agree.
And I think the effects specifically are done a little better here. They aren't as punchy. They aren't as in your face. At least I didn't feel that way. It just made it a little bit easier to like swallow the sound of the song, and it doesn't feel like I need like as big of a sound to enjoy this.
I mean, I agree. I just really liked that it was fast. That was the reason I got a 7. I know that's why.
I listened to this song approximately 6 times, back to back, trying to say like anything about it, and the only thing I could come up with was, "Wow, it came and went," and it's not even a negative. It was solid for what it was. I kind of wish there was more, but also it was the appropriate length for what it was. So, it cool. It was an interlude, I think.
Yeah, but an interlude at track 3 is insane.
That's what made me mad, because then we get to the actual interlude later, minute 51. I'm like, this is not an interlude. And then it's like a full song.
Yeah.
Are there lyrics? Did we look it up? Is this like is
So-
it telling a story across the album?
On Apple Music, there was not a lyric sheet, and due to the fact that I wanted to keep being able to hear, I was not able to turn it up loud enough to get all of the lyrics throughout. But the songs I could, like, didn't seem super connected. It seemed kind of more like teenage angst, but that very well could be connected.
I was just curious if it was like thematic at all, and I just completely missed it because it was actually kind of hard for me to find it to listen to. I got Apple Music the other day. I just for whatever reason struggled.
Oh,
today.
have we got playlists for you?
Yeah. I know.
Concrete, baby.
I
Absolutely
That
not.
that playlist is dead. You and Steven killed that playlist.
Apocalypticism. Woo.
No, Clay Pigeons. That one killed it.
Apocalypse
Insta rip.
Clay Pigeons Chunker. Nightmare Roll.
Bro, I don't know what you're talking about. One time I got like Steve Miller Band into like Kanye on my playlist, and I
That
was
ain't
like,
that.
I was
see,
like, I
that's
think
like a-
I'm dead.
That's like a regular role for me. But
Yeah.
I shit you not, this would go from like rap to metal, and not like the like almost converging kinds, the polar opposite kinds, into Western, and you want to die. It was awful.
Czarface into Poppy, you know.
And see, that was lit. I liked those roles. I
Those
like
were
Czarface,
cool.
like Poppy. It was really just like when you're getting screamed at.
See, this is a sign that none of you youngins had to burn CDs. See, I had to learn. I had to learn to make good
I
playlist
burned a
etiquette
CD for the Christmas party. I
Because-
don't want to hear it.
because like bad
burn
playlist
CDs all the
etiquette makes
time.
terrible listening on CDs, and you have to throw them away.
You should see Horseman.
And I used to, dude, I used to
Good
go.
playlist.
I used to go buy the special like ones that weren't silver. They looked like PlayStation 1 games, so that they wouldn't scratch. Sometimes they get stuck in your car stereo, but those are a lot more expensive. So I was real careful. I mean, you got to plan out your playlist.
All right, let's talk about track
Yeah,
4.
we need to re-roll. Cryptic, track 4. I gave this one a 4.5 out of 10.
I gave this the appropriate 4 out of 10.
I gave this one a 5.
Gave this one a 4.5 out of 10.
I'll take it first. So, I don't hate this song. I hate one thing about this song, and that is the fact that it is an Allier bass boosted fucking meme edit. And I know bass is all the rage these days with these kids, but I really think you're using bass boosted headphones to mix this because it's one step like too much, because everything like most people listen to has a bass boost to it because people like it. And you could tell with that kicking it in, it was just too much. It killed me.
You know what, boys? I don't like getting ear fucked. This song does it to you. Holy shit, the beginning just punches you right in the face. It kicks you like a goddamn donkey. I cannot describe it any other way. It hurt
Yep.
me.
So you could call me Megan Trainor. I'm all about that bass, but in this track, it's absolutely just
Boosted.
It is a kick to the
I-
teeth.
I don't understand. Like, I've never been mad about a bass boost, but this was it. Maybe it's that like, is it like that SpongeBob meme where like the whole wall is shaking and like
It's the musical equivalent of a donkey punch.
Well, here's the thing, too. It feels like the most generic bass boost, but on 10. Like the kind they use to send into Twitch streamers while they're sleeping to wake them up.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. But I think it isn't because the bass chosen. It's just too much. So much on the dial.
Also, nobody's brought it up yet, but the ending of this, either the piano, the drums, or the vocals, or a combination of all three are completely out of time. And I don't care if that's a design choice. You can
That's
tell me that's
bad.
on purpose. I don't like it.
The only way that would work is if you have the click track going in the background and
Yeah.
everything is purposefully out of time.
Yes,
bro. You guys would really hate Ornette Coleman. Really. hate.
probably.
I don't know what that was.
Also, in this one, for me at least, the lyrics were completely indiscernible from the background. With everything going on, how much it just hits you, I could not pick them out of anything.
My notes do say the lyrics are unintelligible.
Yeah.
Yes.
I put that as a plus for this track.
Not a plus for me, brother.
I don't know that everyone would agree with me, but I just know. I'm not a vocal guy.
I don't hear lyrics on a first listen anyway, so it didn't matter.
I think
Oh.
with the way that this music feels, for whatever reason, in my brain, it was like, try and listen to the lyrics. Because I think it's, maybe it is because we've been listening to emo music. I've been listening to emo music out the ass, where the lyrics mean a lot. And it's just like, when I could hear the lyrics, they felt meaningful. They felt like they had heart. They felt important. They just were so buried. It sucks when you have someone pouring their heart out and it's stuck behind the guitar player playing too loud. And it's just, I want the vocal boost cut.
I 100% think that vocals should just be underneath everything.
I said, you're a drummer. You just wish it was drums the whole time. Melodic drums, rhythm drums.
I mean, my favorite like movie soundtrack ever is 100% Birdman, and like 3/4 of the soundtrack is just drum solos. So yeah, I mean you're right. I'm not gonna say you're wrong.
It's got like Stuart Copeland.
Yeah. Actually, the whole reason I keep playing Spyro the Dragon is because Stuart Copeland wrote the soundtrack, and it's amazing.
Spyro is a good
That's
game.
valid as hell.
Good game.
I also like Stuart Copeland, but track 5.
Track 5. I Love You Like a Dog. I gave this song a 6.5 out of 10.
I gave this a 7.
I also gave it a 7.
I also gave it a 7.
I'm not a chronic shitter.
Dude, my note on this one, and I could have just misheard them. The lyrics were just kind of immature on this one. This was the one that I was like, okay, well, you could have said that in a better way. Could have masked it a little bit. That was really my only note besides it being high energy. I enjoyed the rest of the track.
I think it kind of dipped us back over into the realm of normalcy. You know, it took away some of the weirder shit going on. It pulled back some. What? Am I wrong? Are you gonna look at me and tell me that I'm wrong?
You're not wrong. You didn't have
Right?
to say it.
That is kind of the point of why we're here.
I'm just kidding.
I was about to say, I feel like I have to say it.
Have you guys never seen the Stephen A. Smith meme? Oh,
This
you guys
one-
don't like sports.
What's a sport? You mean like football? I heard Tony Stewart won the Stanley Cup last year.
This one does feel like the artist had a bit more fun making it. But I have one more critique. Did anybody else think the way that he laughs through the vocoder was not only the most annoying piece of shit thing he could have done, but like it's cringy as well,
It just reminded me of Jared Leto's Joker. Take that as it will.
right?
I just don't think anyone should laugh ever. We should all be sad.
Correct. It's valid.
So yeah, this song to me sounded almost one-to-one a different song that I've heard that I cannot for the life of me place. But
Is it-
also the ad-libs, some of them stick out way too much. Just turn them down just a little bit. That's really all I had for this one. Except I was hoping that somebody caught what song this sounded almost exactly like, and I don't think anybody did.
I mean,
It's a combination of like 3 Devil's Reject songs.
lyrically, it's very close to a lot of Buck Cherry.
Yeah. Carl's exactly right. The lyrics are the big issue here. When you can hear them, they're nothing but like a 12-year-old that figured out what the word fuck is. You know, which I get because, you know, raw emotion. We all want to say nothing but curse words. It's just how it is.
I mean,
But-
it's the most versatile word in the English language. It really is. But that doesn't mean you should record it, maybe.
Exactly.
Or not that many times.
But yeah, this is right in my wheelhouse of stuff I like, so obviously it scored better. And I do think this is very heavily All Americans Rejects influence. I mean, obviously, for me to go and write a song based off the All American Rejects after listening to this, like write a chorus to one, going, yeah, this is my basis for it off of this song. So it's got to be the basis for this.
So, does anyone know what a wheelhouse is? We've been on a lot today. Is it a colloquial saying?
I believe it comes from some stupid guy.
Is it like
way too old?
Stagecoach
Yeah.
days or something? Like,
yeah.
How
we've
far-
used, we've used that word like 4 times today, and it's weird. Stuff doesn't normally come back like that when we talk.
I've learned to just stop thinking about when things happened in history, because I'm probably wrong. I'd say, yeah, this probably happened in the 1800s. To find out it's a phrase from goddamn 280.
Carson's on the Googly. Hold on.
Well, he does that. Should we move on?
Yeah.
It
Oh.
originated in baseball in the 1950s.
See?
It's-
I was definitely thinking like 1890s.
In baseball, wheelhouse refers to the part of the strike zone where a batter can hit the ball with the most power and control.
Neat.
Oh, the home run zone.
Yes.
Oh, thanks, Google AI. We were all wrong.
Oh, was that Google AI?
As I said, is that Google
Yeah.
AI? It's probably also
Alright.
wrong.
Completely false information that we just heard. Next up, R.I.P. I gave the song a 7.5 out of 10.
Give this one a 4 out of 10.
Connor read my mind. This song is a 7.5.
This song is a 4 out of 10. Logan read my mind.
I'll
Yep.
shit on it. Oh, you want to go?
Hold on. My note from the last live we did, where we had this exact problem, is back on this song. It's the same reason. This song is dense. There is a lot going on in this song, and I thought it was spread out better than a lot of the other tracks on this. The synth layers are good. I've noticed that all of my top 3 had drums that I liked.
Mm-hmm.
I was Carl this week,
Yep.
so There is. I have one huge complaint about this song, and it happens a couple more times on this album. One of the vocoders that he uses, it's the high part, cuts through the entire song and is way too loud. And I mean, I personally would have just taken it out completely, probably. But if nothing else, turned it way down.
So my first note on here is that I think it's kind of neat until the fucking lyrics come in. Good God, that vocoder is turned up loud in this one, and there's a lot of effects going on, and it's really rough. Like for me, this is kind of when that vocoder fatigue started setting in, and we're like, this is 12 minutes in. And it's been a
The fact
like,
that we're 6 songs and like you're pretty
we're
accurate about
12 minutes in.
You know, so the way that I had this album super broken up today. I was away from my keyboard almost constantly today.
I feel like I would have had a much better time.
I think it helped, but also it made this album feel so long. And then I looked and I was like, it's 30 minutes.
Wait a minute.
I feel like I've been listening to this for 3 hours.
This album does feel long.
It feels like it's like 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
It's the length of Titanic.
It's because of how much shit they've tightly packed in here, and it's
That's-
impressive.
That's what I was gonna say. It reminded me of like a really rich fudge. You know, like if you get like too thick of a piece of fudge, you put it in your mouth and you're like, "What did I do? I can't swallow."
Yeah,
this."
you're just like,
Yeah.
It's like this exact thing. Like it's the right length for how much is going on. It really is. It's just it does not feel like it's the length it is. I still will complain about the song length. I wish there was a little more development in some of these with the length. Sorry, that word didn't enunciate a second ago. It was the drums. The drums won this song.
Yup.
They win. That was all. That's my note.
Yeah. This was the one that had the piano intro that was very similar to something. I could not place my finger on it.
Listen again, I didn't
My
hear it.
first bet was Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, but that wasn't it. But I did realize that was the exact piano tone I was chasing, not the right like chords. So it's a song with that piano tone and the same like progression as this one. If that helps anybody. My biggest problem with this one, which I mean, I'm gonna dog on the production here, but it's because it was notable on this song, was it was very compressed through AirPods, very compressed, to the point where I couldn't even hear the vocoder you're talking about because the vocals were so buried. I thought that was just something going on, not a vocoder. I was like, oh, there's a high part in there of something.
Yep, and
It was-
fully cutting through in me having to turn this up to like a really decent volume. I was only like 1 or 2 clicks away from max volume on my phone. It hurt when that fully cut through because I wasn't expecting it. I had turned my phone up from the other songs to try and hear the lyrics coming through.
Just curious, how do you guys feel about Tame Impala?
I do not like Tame Impala.
Yeah, you guys just don't like compression. Neat fact.
That's the thing.
Yeah, no.
I do like compression. The thing I don't like about Tame Impala is the people who like Tame Impala.
Oh, okay.
The
That's-
bass
that's the
tone
real-
also mildly annoys me because it's like I like a Lemmy bass tone, so not a bass tone.
Yeah, guitar tone.
Yeah. But it's Tame Impala fans that bug me
No,
to
that-
like keep me away from
That makes
it.
sense. I wasn't trying to digress that far. It was literally just like that is a lot of the stylistic compression that started in a lot of genres. Like this, the whole thing with Tame Impala coming out and doing what they did in a lot of their songs with a lot of the pulsing and a lot of the side chaining and a lot of that stuff is like when it showed up. That's like when it started coming back out into more pop directed music, you know, as much as this is kind of, I don't know, avant-garde pop is kind of what we're listening to today. That's when it kind of brought it in. So it's definitely a stylistic choice.
I think the thing with compression for me is just I like the choke as long as there's a release eventually. And I think there was supposed to be one that maybe just didn't come through
And that
due to the AirPods, and just maybe due to the like lack of knowledge of how to change the levels to keep that stuff because he's a novice at it. But like I said, on other songs he was able to do it, and that's why I wrote it down as a negative for this one because it didn't come through for this one for me.
That makes sense. I think overall I like stronger flavors than you guys do. You know, like my palate is more like Limburger cheese and like sriracha, whereas you guys are like, no, give me American cheese and like pickled Like it's like that different.
I
from
can't
other
do-
stuff.
I
I am
can't do
better than
pickles.
all of you.
I was gonna say, I completely
wait,
disagree with
no,
that, Carl.
no,
That's
no,
like
Carl, what you saying about my palate? You know how
That's-
much food
Carl,
I
here's
can't
your
have.
palate. You're like, I like Asian food. Logan likes Mexican food.
That's
Carson likes American. It's just we're in different areas. You're in
No.
jazz. I'm in hair metal.
No,
he's in.
I'm talking about like in general.
Dang.
like in general, like the pedals I like are nonsensical compared to the pedals you like. Like overall, I think I tend to lean more on the side of like weird. I like weird things put together, and I think we're learning that more as this goes on. I guess Connor did this week too. Our
Just
scores have
talking
been
like
pretty
I don't
low.
have the
I
same,
think
almost
we're-
the same top 3.
Carl, I think we're just in different weirds.
Maybe
Your
that's it.
your weirds are different than my weirds.
I mean, it definitely was not intended as like a I'm better than you. That's not what it was intended at all. I just like weird stuff sometimes, and today was that day. I don't know.
Actually, I have video proof of you liking different weird than me. go watch our review of the pickups or our sound test for the pickups that we put in the guitar.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, did I like the pickups?
No, you didn't like what I was playing.
Oh well, that's I don't like anything. In fact, I actually just don't like anything, unless it's weird.
Let's go to Coraline. I
Yeah,
love
let's
this
move on.
song.
I gave this song a 6.5 out of 10.
I gave this a 7.5.
7.
Vocals. They showed up. Oh my god. I was so happy. They were in the front and center of this track before the sample. I will say the sample was a lot louder, but I liked that because it was a sample. It very clearly showed me I'm listening to the Coraline movie. But the vocals were really good. Holy shit, where were they the rest of the album? I did hate the ending though because it
Yup.
faded out, it came back in and then faded out again. Stupid. But the rest of the song, great. If you cut that ending back, it's a 10. I swear to God.
Hey Logan, I'll tell you where the lyrics are. The rest of the tracks buried underneath all the bullshit. This song doesn't have it, and it makes it great. This was the only song that really stood out to me during my first listen, and it was actually because of the sampling that he used. It was actually kind of clever. I really like how much it stuck out. It added to the song in a really fun way. I think the lyrics were a little bit lost in the mix for me, just because they had been stripped back, and I was so used to the like blaring vocoder.
He was too locked in.
Yeah. I was like, where's the vocoder? I need to find it. No, I
You're
kind of
angry.
liked it. Yeah, then the references were just neat and they were done right. So, good song.
Yeah, I liked most of this song. I did not like how it ended, like Logan said, and I think the samples went on a little too long. But other than that, it's solid.
I'm a whore for Coraline.
Dude, I'm a Czarface fan. You know how long samples can be?
No, yeah, I get that.
Is Coraline the movie where you have to watch the weird shadows coming everywhere to figure out the plot?
Coraline's one of those movies you gotta watch like 15 times to truly understand it, but
Yeah.
the
The
first time you
Beldum.
watch it, it's just really fun.
Neat.
Good movie.
It's like there's so much background lore.
Have you read the book?
I can't remember if I read the book or if I listened to the book.
We should read the book and do it on book club.
No,
No.
we're not allowed to actually be a book
Album
club.
book club.
Besides, I don't think I can read.
Yeah, me and Carl canonically cannot read, so
Album book club.
no. That
Book
would just be
book
book club.
Could it be book album club instead?
If we start a Patreon and we want to do an actual book club,
Dude,
No,
I'd be
guys, it
so
would
down to
be
do a once a month book club on Patreon.
It would be an album book club book club.
I love
terrible.
reading.
It's all fun and games until I make you guys read like the Mullard Tube Technical Journal from 1959, like the things I read in my spare time.
Jesus Christ.
I think the last book I read in my spare time was the Little Black Book of Business Math because I was trying to fight somebody on tax law.
I think I'm learning I'm the most dull, interesting person in the history of mankind. I think that's what I'm learning.
All right, we ready to move on to Haunted?
Go.
Sure.
7 out of 10.
5 out of 10.
6.
3.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Carson.
yeah, please.
So everything I hated about this album came back. It's just not for me. And
They dropped
honestly,
his anchor and he
my-
couldn't recover.
really. My only note for this track is trap beat with 2 thumbs down emojis.
Mhm. Yeah, Mr. Trap Beat right here did not like the trap beat.
No.
It was not appropriate. And as we've learned, apparently, I like trap beats, but not today.
I think this one made a playlist. I think
Oh.
outside of this album, it would work better than it did here. What? Why are you looking at me like that?
That's fucking crazy.
Made
This
it-
one was a vibe. I did not hear the lyrics at all, but
Oh,
if-
really?
no. Well, I don't anyway.
Made it to Connor's twerking in the bedroom playlist. He didn't tell us which one on purpose, boys.
Look,
No, this is
man.
work 16.
Well, it's one of the driving ones. It's just not the one I usually reference on the podcast.
Okay.
You got 14 songs on here. Of all the songs you could have cut, this was it. I hate to say it. It's
No,
got a 30-second
absolutely
outro,
not.
for one. 30-second outro. Old Serwin, capital staple right there. The vocals were it. This to me was the song that was the worst case of like, I want it in a song, so let's do it. This to me felt like the casserole that mom puts together before shit expires. And it's either good or it's either bad. You love it or you hate it. Clearly, lover of the casserole on the couch, a hater of it on the same couch.
This dude
hey.
eating everything but the kitchen
Bro,
sink.
did you ever notice that in elementary school you got spaghetti one day and then chili the next day?
That's fucked. Don't ruin my childhood.
Yeah, the song that should have been cut from this album, we have not made it to.
It's
yet. Just so
next.
you know, it's not next, but it's
Oh,
coming up.
Wait, which one? Which
Track
one is
10.
next?
Which one is next? That would
The
be
interlude.
Oh yeah, track
the
10.
interlude, Missing Teeth. I gave this song a 4 out of 10, unless we have to go back because somebody didn't talk.
I talked. Unless you want me to talk
No,
more
I
about
talked.
the differences
Cool.
in spaghetti and chili.
Missing Teeth, 4 out of 10.
4.5 out of 10.
I liked this one. It's a 7.
It's a 4.
I'll take the camera thing.
Yeah.
They did the Daft Punk thing, the breaking of the vocoder at the end, the glitching too.
Oh, so you liked it in this one?
No, I hated the glitching, but the vocoder breaking worked with the glitching, so it gets a half in favor. Other than that, the track itself was fine. The vocals were fucking terrible.
I'll take it because what Carson just said is going to very much apply to what I have to say here. I'm going to be a hypocrite real quick. So first off, you're not wrong. The vocals not good. I don't like the vocal effects in the beginning, and they don't carry through very well throughout the rest of the song. But also, there is a lot happening at the end of this, and how I was talking about it being dense earlier, it's not done the
Uh-huh.
same. Earlier,
Uh-huh.
it was dense and compact. In this one, it's just they threw a bunch of shit at the end.
That's what it feels like earlier too.
No, they
That's
did
what
it
it feels
he-
like to me.
He did it better earlier. This is worse.
It
So-
feels the same.
Connor is now understanding what interpretive art is. We have this fight all the time about like modern art and how Connor hates modern art.
Modern
I think
art
he
is stupid.
I think I'm gonna spin him on how modern art can somehow be appreciated. Never purchased for money. That's stupid. Don't purchase modern art. But I can appreciate looking at it.
Well, yeah, but the purpose, it was made to be sold.
I can appreciate reading the thing on the
Sometimes
wall at
it's
the
about
art museum.
Emotion.
And then some people build a giant.
Some
Like-
people build a giant sand statue and knock it over, made of buckets.
some
This is
peo-
real, and they sell it for $500,000. This was $5 buckets from Lowe's that they filled with sand, and
What?
they sold it for $500,000.
I like the
What
one
the
where
fuck are we
where the
doing,
guy
boys?
built the giant shape in the middle of a mall and like paddled a canoe through it. That was funny.
But see,
I would never have paid to see that.
But see,
That's
you're,
funny.
you're missing the thing is the person that bought it for $500,000 probably sold it for $750,000.
No, they
And-
probably just wrote it off on their taxes
Well,
and threw it
yeah.
in the trash can.
Or that too, dude. You can't.
It's all a business move.
I was gonna say, dude.
I understand
I
why
get
they
it.
do it, but you are not going to sit here and tell me that a blue square on a white background means something. It means he got a tax break.
I don't know, man.
You
how
know
does it,
what-
How does it make you feel? It's about how it makes you feel. Art is like music, man.
I'd say there is that like robot that's constantly cleaning up oil, which
I
I,
like
don't.
that
I
one.
don't think he took a commission for, and it is to me one of the best pieces of art
I
because
like
of
that
the
one.
symbolism. And yeah, I understand like blue on a white background to invoke sadness and talk about pain and all that, but it's just like that is definitely something I would do for myself, but I can't understand selling it.
It feels like you're trying too hard to be an intellectual. If I'm being completely honest.
No, dude.
No. Like if you like if you're like diving that far into it, and like people who talk about modern art like it's the greatest thing in the world, I feel like they're just trying a little too hard.
I mean,
Like admit that it's a blue square on a white canvas.
Oh, that's
it's
what
not
it-
that hard to make.
You can
But
say that,
the story
yeah.
behind it is what sells the thing.
But it's never about how hard it is to make. It's about how it makes you feel.
Yeah.
correct. You guys just can't see the ship through the dots to make a Mallrats reference. It's just it doesn't mean anything to you. That doesn't mean it doesn't mean something to someone.
What?
Or
I'm
it didn't
pro
mean
modern
something
art
to the.
here.
It didn't mean something to the artist. I don't know, man.
But do you know what
I
does
think
mean
selling
nothing?
a canvas with a banana tape to it for a lot of money is just the ultimate swindle.
Wait.
That guy's a great
Wait,
con artist.
haven't you seen the second commercial? He eats the banana.
He eats the banana, yeah, and it was about how unfeasible money was.
I've been trying to segue us back into the actual show. I've tried it 3 times now. Boys, do you know what else means nothing? The fucking interlude at the end of this title. It's not an interlude.
That is true.
neat
It
fact-
is a full-length song.
So you could have segued, but I would have interrupted you because you guys haven't let me talk yet. I actually liked the beat boops in this one. I think world is topsy-turvy today. I wanted beat boops, and you guys did not. So, neat fact. But speaking of modern art,
And this guy said we say the same thing every week.
I know it's weird. I'm like upside down, going backwards here. There's a good segue between modern art and the title of the next song, though. If you would like to take it.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
that's-
I was trying to talk about this one.
Oh, you were neat. Do you want to keep talking?
Oh, no,
Go
no, no.
ahead.
I had an extra comment off of what I already said earlier, and I was trying to just bring us back. That's all it was.
Did you say your comment?
Yeah.
Go
Oh.
ahead, say.
Okay.
Yeah, the comment was
Alright.
the interlude
Are
at
we
the end of
ready
this
to
title
move
means
on?
nothing. Yes.
Any other modern art comments?
Good God, no.
All right, next up. Hated the color, still painted the walls. This one is going to be a fight, I fear. 6.75.
3.
Sorry, I can't read my handwriting. I think I gave it an 8. I think I liked this.
3.
Oh yeah, this was my top track. I did like this.
And we can tell we can tell who brought Logan today.
I can just tell you flat out the biggest issue with it was this one was spun on its head from everything else. Vocals were front and center. Everything else was in the background. And notably, the vocals on this have not been my favorite. And the tracks have been pretty solid. So for the track that was pretty solid to take the back seat to, yet again, some just okay vocals.
It's really funny how kind of negative my notes are compared to the score I gave it. I will say, good out of the way. I like the drums. I like the guitars. The vocoder, that high vocoder's back. Not a fan. And this is going to seem like a negative, but this last comment is a positive. There's a stereo effect on, I think it was the vocals and some of the synths, that is super disorienting and like messes with your head. And you would think that's a bad thing. No. It made
is.
me feel something. I like that.
No,
that was good.
It's a bad thing. It was
No.
a bad thing for me, Connor.
I disagree.
You know what else was a bad thing for me? Those fucking vocals. You
Yeah.
guys heard my notes earlier. I'm going to be a little bit nicer, but I really did not like them in this track.
All right. I'm going to go back to the stereo thing real quick. I would rather be disoriented and feel something than bored.
Yep.
This track didn't make me feel bored. It made me feel angry.
Now, this one, I was like, oh, yeah, that the drums, good. Guitars, awesome way to start the song. Ooh, the high vocoder, not too great. Oh, I feel weird now. I like this.
So I'm not saying like that's what this song is, but I would 100% rather than listen to bad music someone took a chance on than pop from the 90s. That is just factory produced, same thing over and over again. Like I enjoy people taking a chance and pushing the boundaries, and I think that's part of why it scored so high for me.
It's like what was it? It's happened a couple times this season even, but the big standout one was one of the last songs on Knocked Loose, how it actually like sounded like a horror movie and like had you scared a little bit. It's like that, where it's not really a pleasant feeling, but it did something.
don't know,
and that's what this did for me.
it keeps happening the last like 3 or 4 weeks. I don't know what's going on, but like I at some point I get the album, and I think that was this track. Like I think I just got it. Like I just enjoyed listening to this song, which is super not normal. Like it's not strange, but it's just abnormal for me to like
To enjoy something, yeah.
to enjoy something. Period. First of all, but second of all, to like figure an album out halfway through rather than like 8 months later or hear it like 10 years after and be like, oh, that was kind of cool. I don't know. I'm always late to the party when it comes to that kind of thing. So maybe it's album book club rubbing off. Or
Now
something.
it's expected of you by 8:30 on Friday.
Yeah, I got it. You know, like at this point, the album made sense. I was all about the jam. I was all about the vibes it created. That sounds like the most generic thing in the world, but sometimes I like it because I like it. And
He is about to destroy that entire thought in one song.
oh yeah, the next, yeah,
Speaking of,
the next song.
do we got anything else to say about this one? All right. We Live Under the Same Moon. Gave this song a 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10.
5, yeah.
4.
Can I start this one off with a joke?
Yeah.
Do you guys know why Skrillex was kicked out of Guitar Center?
Mm.
He dropped the bass.
Yeah.
This song had too much Skrillex in it, so it got a 5.
And it had another one of those bass drops without a resolution for me. It just felt way too compressed. And it's kind of like what Logan was talking about earlier, how you kind of get no relief. That's kind of how I was feeling with the first time I brought up this point. And it just doesn't hit for me, you know?
I can't make that joke on the internet.
Of course you can.
No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, let's talk about this track. Shoot. Shit.
What's the
Fuck.
track?
Look, let's talk about this. There's an automaton in the intro. Get rid of it. Anyway, acoustic guitar, solid. The rest of it, not. The sample at the end, pretty nice.
Are we talking about the same song?
Yeah.
I don't. You might be smoking crack.
Because this was the one that was like.
Yeah.
Do we live under the same moon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It starts with like an automaton and acoustic guitar and then drops after like 10 seconds.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's fucking terrible. Because it tricks you. You're like, oh, this is a cool song. No. Wrong. But it ends with a sample, and it's pretty solid and nice. I don't remember what the sample was off the top of my noggin.
You know, like overall, I think the 5 years that everyone liked dubstep might be the worst 5 years of my life.
Steven
Like-
still likes dubstep.
Like just overall, like it's not even like directly dubstep's fault, but I feel like there's a correlation there in my mind.
Speaking of dubstep, I don't know if this is common lore on the within our podcast, but EDM and rave music, I can't stand it. I think as an EDM and rave song, this one's kind of okay, but it does not belong anywhere near this album.
Is dubstep like rave music? Is that what it's supposed to be? I think it's like the over commercialization of the good things from EDM and rave, and it just like ruined the genre. It's like what truck rock has done to country. Like
Dubstep,
I have no idea. I'm not in that. I don't live in that genre. And I don't want
it's
to.
like
not
it
either.
went a step too far. You
Yeah.
know, it's like Steve Aoki was having fun, and then Skrillex came out. It was kind of like the way that Limp Bizkit came into the rock scene, where it's just like you go to a show expecting to have fun, and you're like, God damn it.
bro, you shut up. I love new metal.
Oh, I love new metal
I
too, but
fucking
you know
love nu metal.
what I mean. Like if some dude was just like, all right, let's go give these new guys a chance, and then showed up at like an ICP show and got hit with a bottle of Faygo, he's gonna have a sour taste. And that's just what happened with dubstep. It's kind of like these new young guys came in and were way different, way more wild, and all the people that were kind of used to the other stuff kind of resented for
Wait,
it.
hold on. Does Faygo taste sour to you?
I like
No, he
Faygo.
meant
I
like-
meant if somebody got slammed in the back of the head with a full 2-liter. I know somebody who told me a story about that happening.
You
Wait,
know what?
they
The
make-
cotton candy Faygo is delicious.
I've only ever seen Faygo in 1 liter bottles, but also I was like, wait, hold on.
They do the 2.25 liters.
It's a 2.25. That's what it is. I knew it was something weird.
Yeah, it's 2.25.
Freaking Faygo, dude! What a weird reference to make. I don't know. It just I don't know if it's my least favorite genre. Truck rock's probably my least favorite genre, but dubstep's probably a close second.
I think because of album book club, I think rave and EDM has become my least favorite.
Really? I feel like I've tried to loosen you on it a little.
I've deepened into electronic, but because of like
You didn't like.
Mostly Lamont actually, with some of the song review country ones.
Mm-hmm.
I have like less hatred towards it. I still hate the truck rock stuff he was talking about.
What about the one artist we want to interview that I showed you? Did you not fuck with their shit?
It's fine.
That's fair. I think that's the way I'm gonna get you. I'm just gonna like keep funneling you.
I mean, that's
them
how
and
it.
just be like
That's how it happened
them.
with metal.
So I mean,
Yeah, you just gotta funnel you a bunch
Yeah.
of good ones.
I think the thing that I hate about dubstep, this didn't have it though, because the crime of all the music I don't like is that it's disingenuous. Like if there's like genres overall that are just fake or pretentious, and which is funny because I don't think nu metal's one of them. But if there's genres that are like that, I understand that Skrillex put the time together to do all the noises and beat boops and do that stuff, but like, dude just gets on stage and presses a laptop and made a ton of money, and like that makes me fundamentally angry to a level I cannot explain to anyone. So like anytime you remind me of that, I'm upset. So I'm sorry.
There's some. I say this as someone who's seen a DJ set and hated it when I saw it.
Yep.
Oh,
I
I believe
three.
we were
Everyone
there.
except Carl
We were
was
all
at that
there.
show.
Yeah, but I'm saying is like my brain has come to change a different way of thinking about DJs. And yes, there are dudes that just go up on stage and don't do shit. And we saw one of them.
I think-
Holy shit.
Yeah, we should have that opener. We should have beat the hell out of him.
But then you also have dudes like Dylan,
The audience should have rushed that guy.
like Dylan Francis, who Dylan was up there putting on a show, having a good time, making sure the crowd was entertained. Now, would I have paid to see just him? No. I paid the ticket price I saw to see Young Gravy. And then Dylan Francis was a nice add-on. If I'm at like a rave or a festival or something like that, and I go out into the woods and see Steve Aoki playing, and there's a bunch of glow sticks and fucking shit, I'm gonna go have the time of my life, because those guys are there to be supporting the high people. They are not there. Now there are the dudes that sell like $300 VIP tickets to go press buttons, and that is ridiculous. But I will always have respect for the DJs that just hop on to like be a mid-carder at some festival somewhere, just putting on a show in the middle of the woods, having a good
Carl,
time.
if you want context, the opener for that show pretty much walked up there with a laptop and played best 2022 TikTok EDM remix.
It was bad.
Yeah,
YouTube video.
I
It was bad.
I kind of just have little respect for anyone that comes on stage and plays tracks at all. Like I just don't want that. Like I understand that people want to hear the album live, and that makes you have to use tracks and samples because you can't afford to hire musicians, whatever. But like that actually just makes me really angry. So I think it's just the whole thing with dubstep. I think it's the over commercialization and the fact that it's all super fake. Some of those guys are nice guys, but like the fact that you walk on stage and hit a button on a laptop and occasionally spin some things that may or may not even be plugged in, really doesn't. I won't say it doesn't make you a musician, but it doesn't make you a good performer.
Oh,
I think
So-
there's a time and a place to use tracks.
I just think I'm jaded to it. I literally will say that I will never be in a band that uses tracks in any sort of situation where I
shit,
am
we
in
just
any
saw-
artistic control.
We just saw two that used tracks on Saturday. There's circumstances, I think, where it's very necessary. One of the bands we saw on Saturday, their bass player literally did not know if he was going to be able to be at the show until 7 p.m., and he
Cool.
wasn't able to show up until halfway through the show.
Yeah, there's a guitar pedal that does that. You don't need to run a track.
They need both of their other guitar players playing.
You can change the parts to play live. You don't have to play the album live. That's the whole problem, is that people think they have to play the album live. There's literally no excuse. I don't even like playing to a metronome live. I think it takes away to a lot of the specs, and I can. I mean, I play to mets all the time. I don't understand why you want to go hear an album live. I have good speakers at home. I don't need to stand next to a bunch of sweaty people to hear it loud. I don't know.
I agree to that sentiment, but I think there's times to use tracks.
either way, moving on to I don't know what track number.
12.
12. All right, Spit Me Out. I gave this one a 6 out of 10.
Give us a 5 out of 10.
Give this one a 7.
Give this one a 5.
I can go first.
Yup, you hit the nail on the head. This is the track of the album.
Yep.
It's there.
The track of all time.
It's the track of all tracks. It's the exact same as everything else on this album.
Mhm.
Track in the background, solid. Vocals, buried.
Actually, you know what? Take this one and the last one, remove them from the album.
But
there's your 12 tracks.
I was
Pretty
gonna say,
solid.
I think it scored higher because I didn't like the last one so much. That happens a lot. We talk about the placement on the album, changing the sound, because all I wrote is that it was laid back and I liked the vocals better on this track than some of the others. That's all the notes I had. I don't know that that necessarily is a 7.
The only note I have is kind of mean. It says having everything in a bunch of layers doesn't sound cool when you don't do it well. And I was like, that's kind of mean. You know, they do a lot of stuff here pretty well, and they tie a lot together. And it can be hard, but it's the vocals for me, man. I just can't do them. Yeah, that's all I had to say about 'em. I've already harped on it.
All right, so this was almost everybody's thumbs up. We're moving on. I Will Find You in Another Life. I gave this song a 6.5 out of 10.
4.5.
6.
4.
I think this is going to get to that point for everyone. I think at this
Yeah.
point, we either got it or we didn't. I got it at this point. This one was just a slower, more heartfelt track.
It's really funny. I almost wrote down, Carl's going to hate this because it's slower.
Yeah.
I didn't mind this track. I don't have anything other than that this is one of the starred ones on Apple Music. It's this and Coraline. I get it. I like some of the other ones better, but like, it's fine.
It's got a cool title. If I had listened to the lyrics might be cool.
I
No.
I had gotten a headache at this point. But
What
it's
did I do?
mainly due to that vocal effect.
Nice.
And it really does just smack you with a lot of fatigue, especially when you're listening to short songs that feel long, because you feel like you've been listening for, like Logan said, like 2 full hours, and it's only been 25 minutes. And I'm still so smacked with fatigue just from one effect being way overused.
Yeah. This was the song that really just sent me on a rant. Apparently, there are sections of this song where the vocals are really clean and the vocoder's done really well. But then there's other sections, it just not it. So I wrote down there should be a robo rasp, not a full-on Android asthma attack, because sometimes it would just get so dirty in there. Stylistically or not, I think it was just killing the track with how present it was. It could just use turned down a little bit.
All right.
Sorry, I'm still thinking about how much I hate tracks. Like, I'm like fuming over here. It's okay.
Carl's pissed.
All right. We good? Can we move on to the next track? Sorry, song.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to
No,
freak Carl out a little
it's fine.
bit.
I'm triggered,
Everybody
dude.
stop saying track. It's
I'm-
triggering him.
I'm so triggered. Like, if I see a train on the way home, I might shoot it with a gun.
Hey, Carson, please
It's a
don't laugh
hell of a
directly into
lot
the
of
mic.
tracks.
See what I did there? If I'm gonna go get ice cream, it's not gonna be Moose Tracks.
You know what's funny? I am going to go get ice cream after this.
All right, we ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right. Everything is going to be okay.
No, it's not.
I don't believe it. 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10.
7.
5.
I have a really funny story about this song. So, first off, it was a pretty decent outro until the next note that I wrote down. I was in the middle of texting Logan about something, and I'm like, all right, that's pretty good. I can take a break. And then I leaned away from my computer, and then it started. The batshit insane outro started. I was like, put my phone down and just leaned back over to type out what is happening right now.
Dude, this literally, I just want you to know, this was almost my favorite track on the album. I almost gave this like a 9, but I was like, the other guys will roast me so hard. I have never been so pleasantly ear raped in my life. Like, my brain hurts so bad after the minute of that. I was literally like, oh my God, this is what pain is like. I haven't felt this in a while. And I was just happy. I had a moment of pure euphoria just because of the sheer insanity that was going on. I don't know. Dude,
I had the exact opposite experience as I've established on this episode multiple times. I hate getting ear fucked, and this was forceful. And I'm talking forceful ear fuck. Not a fun time. I did not have a good time with this song.
This honestly might be one of like the most vicious things that wasn't like just sound design to ever be played over speakers for me.
It attacks you. This song physically assaults you in some way.
I don't think audio can hurt you, buddy.
It can. It can. You can definitely destroy your ears, and that's damage.
I mean, unless you play the brown note.
Destroy your pants.
I would never shit my pants.
That's a literal thing. You can resonate your bowels.
Just because Carson said that, I'm gonna rig it to the board one of these days.
No! No, our headphones won't play it. There's also a frequency that if you can sit with an oscillator and find the exact frequency of someone's heart, you can kill them by making it skip. The effect. If you do it loud enough.
See us try that next week on Album Book Club. No, my actual written down notes in the middle here are, it's a pretty decent outro, and then what the actual hell, parentheses, the outro started. I would be so much less mad at this song if it didn't end on the wrong note. The very last note is wrong. It's off by one note in one direction. I don't remember which one, but it pissed me off so much.
Yeah, track was solid until it wasn't. I did note that the vocals started out in the right place, and then they got louder for why. But the outro was so bad that Logan just really don't love the outro about 8 hours ago. So,
dude, I was just so for it. Like I was literally like, I think the whole album scored like a point higher because of the outro.
All right, we ready to move on?
Yeah.
We do. Which one was first? I don't even remember.
Basing.
Okay.
Basing.
I'm actually going to drop it another half point. I gave the pacing a 6 out of 10.
That sounds like a good idea to drop another half point. I'll give it a 6 out of 10 too.
I wrote a 6 originally, so I don't know what you guys are dropping for over there.
I'll drop a half point. I'll give it a 5.5.
It somehow, being one of the shortest albums we have ever reviewed, feels like one of the longest. That's almost impressive.
We're trying to process everything as it's happening, which just really the log just backs up. Because you get to the first song, you're still trying to process the trap section on it by the time you're on track 7.
Yeah, if I didn't love things fast, I probably would have listened to this on like 3/4 speed.
That's insane.
I love things fast.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
But I think it just would have processed better. And there's so much bouncing around. Like you never really, and I love music like that. But
You know what's
you never
funny,
stay
Carl?
in one spot.
3/4 speed. I'm pretty sure that would
It's like 45
increase
minutes.
it by 25%, aka 45 minutes.
Yep.
Just about.
Yeah, it's a perfect rule. Neat.
You're following right in line.
Yep, we are. We actually just have a script. We're just reading the script.
I will
Yeah.
say, I do need to get like a full run of this album in like sitting in one place.
Don't. It's bad.
Shut up. Because today's listen was broken up. I've listened to it in order other times while I wasn't really listening, but I need to actually listen in like a full order. But
Both ways,
still,
in both times I listened to it all the way through, I just found a new 33-minute way to piss myself off. You know,
Bro,
it wasn't for me, man.
I have lots of better ways. You ever tried calling Amazon customer support?
No, I don't really order off Amazon.
You ever ordered food at Taco Bell and tried to get them to get it right?
Don't really eat Taco Bell.
Man, struggling here.
I did listen to this all the way through today, and it was definitely a case of I was doing work way faster than this album was going, because I got done doing my job and was like, damn, this album's not even close to over. I was on track 3 and had done what felt like a lot of work.
You know what's funny about that, Logan? I actually had like a bit of an opposite day at work. I had one task that dragged on for a full like 6 hours. So taking my day that I already had something that dragged on for a really long time and going into an album that feels like it drags on for a really long time, I think I wasn't just at a bad time, but you know, it's not my vibe.
all right. Next up, album art. I gave it a 5.5.
5.
I don't know that I looked at the album art. I was just thinking about that. I gave it a 7, but I'm not sure I remember what it was.
It's just a like
It's just a
It's
flashed photo
flash
of his
photo of
face.
his face as a kid,
Yep.
little guy.
We've talked about Carson. Did you say your score?
5.
Uh,
Do
we-
I need to?
Yeah. We've talked about it before in one of our most recent EP reviews. I'm not a huge fan of using just a face as an album art, and I think this would fall into that category.
Well, yeah, except there's
that's-
no face.
I was just
Well,
saying,
yeah,
it's also a blown out face. It's just
I think for the
flash
genre,
wash.
it fits pretty well. I don't dislike it in genre. I don't love it as a picture, but I think that's a personal thing. So
I agree with you 100%. Like, this is just this genre's version of a photo of a face.
Mhm.
Like, blur it out, distort it in some kind of way, make it look artsy. There you go. It's just the most basic thing that you can do.
Do you want me to talk? I don't think I have anything to say. Sorry.
Logan, you got
I mean, what do
Anything
you
else?
say about it?
It says it's a face, man.
all right. Music overall, I gave it a 6.
4.5.
I give it a 6.5.
6.
Feel like overall there were a lot of good things happening that were either underdeveloped or just, I don't know, maybe needed someone else to help with the mix or something. Like I feel like there was a lot of effort and there's a lot of energy that I really enjoyed, and that's something that's actually the hardest thing to do. It's actually really easy to make an album by spending a ton of money and make just a flat thing that just sits, and this album was not that. So kudos to the artist for doing that.
So, I've already gotten into the fact that this isn't really for me. However, I cannot overlook the effort that went into these songs. The different layering of effects is really impressive, even though it's not mixed that well. And a lot of the stylistic choices weren't to my ear, but that shows just a nice knowledge of the process, a good knowledge of the genre. You know, it shows good effort, and that's why I want to rate it a little higher than I actually rated some of the songs on here. I think it's actually pretty solid for what it is.
Yeah, and I'll get into when he DM'd us about this album, he had mentioned that he made it when he was like 14, 15.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive.
Yes.
When I was 14 or 15, I hadn't even started production or anything. I was in band, I guess, so music had started, but like what I'm doing now, not even
You were
an
tooting on the
not even
horn.
a thought yet. So, I mean, like his songs at 14 or 15 are definitely better than mine.
Yeah, he's got the right framework. It's all there. And to be frank, look, I am just judging you against everyone else that has ever released music, because that is what I have to judge you against. I'm not going to judge you against me at 14. That's not a fair comparison. Obviously, I'm going to think I was better. It's me. It's just how
yeah,
that's
the
how
guitarist ego.
I just said
it's
it's
right
just
there.
how a damn ego works. But what I am gonna say is there's a hell of a lot of effort and a hell of a lot of energy. Just spend some more time maybe on some of the other research sides. Some of the things that are very easy to do at home that don't cost money but do cost time, which time is money, yes. But the more time you're putting into your project, the longer you wait on it, yes, that could be damning. But try another pair of headphones, mix through a couple different things. Just look up those little pitfalls you fell into. There's like bound to be a Reddit list of like 50 things of not to do, and just check that list off.
Actually, like trying to learn how to produce music on Google is like the worst thing ever, because
is
it's
very
something that is like producers or even mixers are so specific about what they do and what they lay down that unless you take someone's like entire course and just decide to make a mix exactly what they want to do, you're gonna take so long finding what your sound is that it's like it's going to be a lot.
I'm not saying go look at everyone's thing. I'm saying use another pair of headphones.
Sure.
Learn what every pedal does.
Oh no, there's
all the little minute things that, like, as a guitar player, I've learned just playing them and stuff like that, just that we pick up. Look it up. You've got it all at your disposal. There's so many things. It's not like the 70s where you had to go ask your old guitar player and he'd make a weird noise at you about what a fuzz was.
The internet is a wealth of information, but it's just as bad as good when it comes to a lot of this stuff. That's the main thing.
Mhm.
You know, like I have read so many things where people are talking about music production that they're literally bass backwards, and like we've figured out that like Connor and I can't produce in the same room. We tried the other day, and it was
That is
like
correct.
I had to be like, okay, Connor has the power here, and I have to shut up, or otherwise we're gonna start fighting. Because it's
Except he
literally,
didn't. He played on the keyboard the entire time.
yeah, I did. Yep. I literally just sat there and was bad at piano for like 30 whole minutes. Speaking of, I was gonna say that I think it might be a little mean to say this was the worst 30 minutes I've ever spent in my life. That's definitely not true, because I watched some crazy CW TV show from one of my exes. I watched the entirety.
Did you
of it.
say that? I thought Carson said that.
No, Carson said that. But I
Carson
definitely
said that, and you defended it.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, I definitely don't agree with that. I think it's definitely a.
I don't think
decent-
I said it was the worst 30 minutes of my life.
So the biggest
Look.
waste of 33 minutes.
Oh yeah, no. I said I found a really good way to spend 33 minutes and make myself really angry.
Well, yeah.
Look, I'm not gonna lie to you. This is not the greatest quality product in the world. I would not go spending as much money as I can to go advertise this on like New York Times, like wherever. I would show this to everyone and go, "This is where I started," and then I'd show them the next check and say,
I mean-
"This is where I am," and then show them the one after that, say, "This is where I'm going." Just keep going. This is really good.
Yep.
It's all about just keeping on and going. I wouldn't say this is bad per se. Of like, obviously, there's some things that are not great because they're just mistakes that you make. That's not what needs to be said. What needs to be said is learn from those mistakes. Keep
Right.
going.
I think if we did like film festivals for albums, this would be a good pick for an indie like
Yeah.
album festival.
That's a great idea. We should do that.
You know, it's kind of like you know, you go to a film festival, and like, yeah, they didn't have the budget, so they didn't have the actors, so they didn't have the effects, they didn't have this, but the story or the intentions are what goes through, and that's what I got from this album,
Usually
was the energy.
Film festivals just need the publisher. That's like most of the big ones.
No, I'm talking about like indie film festivals. I don't know. I guess you guys don't watch weird indie films like I do in French. I don't know. Maybe you do.
I hosted a film festival.
Oh, neat. Connor already is 8 steps ahead of me, like normal.
Always.
I had to be at 2, and I was involved in hosting one of them. So most of them weren't very good, but there's one that was really good. All right, we ready to? What do we got next? I don't even know.
We're
Next
ending
week's
the
album.
show.
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
Track this out exactly the right time.
I hate tracks. Don't track us out.
All right.
Connor, you're on the cam. Oh, there you go.
No, I knew that. Yeah. Who's
Next week we are talking to Mike of
Yep.
the Tiger Made of Lightning,
and we are reviewing Foreign Moon by the band Minnows.
per his suggestion.
You all, before that, will understand where that came from.
Yeah.
We are a little bit ahead right now.
Check
but
out that video on Thursday.
Yeah. Yep.
See you.
That's all we got.
Boom.